Hi everyone and welcome to DIY with Nadia. Today we're making 5 super easy and gorgeous Dollar Tree wreaths. For this wreath, I'm going to be using 2 microfiber pads from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going right in between the stitch lines to cut each microfiber pad into 4 sections. Now I'm using some hot glue attaching strips to the wreath and just wrapping them all the way around. Now I'm grabbing this pick and I'm just grabbing the greenery from it and hot gluing it in the top center of the wreath. I love the greenery because it's already painted white a little bit and it looks frosty. Next, let's do the bow. I'm going to start by approximating how big I want my bow and then just cutting that ribbon down. And I'm using this burlap ribbon with lace over it, and I'm grabbing some polka dot grosgrain ribbon and hot gluing it right on top of the lace, securing each end to the back of the burlap. Now I'm just making my simple bow, bringing it together with a piece of floral wire in the middle and hot gluing it to the top center of the wreath. Using another pick from the Dollar Tree, I'm just grabbing the berries, then cutting 2 little strips to put on top of the greenery and a small piece of berries to hot glue in the middle of the bow. Today's video is part of the Christmas Friday Hop, and it is being hosted by my beautiful friend Heidi from Heidi Sample DIY. Down below in my description box is a link to the next channel on the Hop. Each channel will have a link to the next person in the Hop, which will take you all around the crafters circle. Make sure to leave a comment on each of the crafters videos, that way you could be entered in the giveaway. The winner will receive 3 gift cards, $75 to Target, $150 to Amazon, and $150 to Walmart. For this wreath, I'm using the Woodblend wreath from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to give it 1 coat of Rust-Oleum chalk paint. Next, I'm grabbing 10 pine cones and I will give them a coat of white chalk paint. Now that my pine cones are nice and dry and they have a good white base, I'm going in with a pretty pink and I'm giving all the pine cones a good coat of that beautiful pink paint. Next, I'm grabbing some Mod Podge and I'm going to put glitter right on top of those pine cones. They will give such an elegant and beautiful addition to my wreath. For this wreath, I will also be using these mini ornaments, then the silver and white iridescent vase fillers, a few of these star vase fillers from the 4th of July, and then I'm going to be using the fern greenery as my base. I'm going to decorate 3/4 of my wreath, leaving 1/4 empty just as it is. So that's why I'm starting with my fern so I can see the edges of where I'm going to be working. Then I'm just grabbing all this greenery that I had left over from previous projects and just hot gluing it all around the section that I'm working on. Next, I'm grabbing the mini silver ornaments and I'm just popping off the little tops from them and then just hot gluing them all around the wreath. You want to start with those because those are your bigger pieces before we get into the smaller one. Next, I'm using the stars because those are also quite big comparing to the other pieces. Then I'm just working on my white iridescent and silver vase fillers. Now for the pine cones, I'm just balancing everything out and trying to spread them out throughout the wreath. And if there was any spots open, I went back and filled in with the mini little vase fillers. To hang my wreath, I'm grabbing a piece of ribbon I had on hand, feeding it through the vines in the back of the wreath, making a little knot, and I'm ready to hang my wreath. For this super easy wreath, I'm going to use this scarf that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to actually use 2 of them. And the first thing I did was cut my foam wreath so I can feed the scarf through. And then I'm just going to undo the edges. Without cutting, I just unstitched it so I don't waste any of the scarf. And I'm just feeding it onto my wreath. To bring my wreath back together, I did try to use some hot glue, but that was a definite fail because it just melted the foam. So I just did a few layers of this clear packing tape and it worked absolutely fine. For the bow, I will be using this buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I want a bigger tail on here, so I just measured my tail. Then I'm going to do 4 loops, meaning 2 loops on each side of my bow, and bring it together with a piece of floral wire. To prevent fraying and to make sure my tail is nice and pretty, I'm going to fold the edge over about 1/4 of an inch, put some hot glue right there, and then fold my tail into a little triangle. And then I'm going to pinch the edge and the triangle to make sure it's nice and crisp. Next, I'm hot gluing the bow straight onto the wreath form. You can also just use a string and tie it on. For the bow tails, we are going to be using the ribbon method. All I'm doing is folding the ribbon under and pinching it in the back so you have a nice smooth loop in the front. And as you can see, I'm going to do it twice for each one of the tails. As you can see here, I tried a red pom-pom on here and I just did not like the way it looked, so I cut it off and I grabbed 3 cotton balls and hot glued them to the center of the ribbon, and oh my goodness, it made all the difference in the world. To hang this wreath, I'm just grabbing a piece of ribbon I had on hand and it was a perfect red match, and I'm just cutting it off and pinning both of the ends together and straight onto the foam wreath. Just a quick reminder about the giveaway that is going on my channel. It's called Christmas Card Exchange Giveaway, and you have a chance to win a custom designed t-shirt just for you, and there are going to be 3 winners. For information, the link is in the description box below and right here on the screen. For this wreath, we are going to be using 6 rolls of this decorative mesh, and we're going to cut the mesh into 14-inch strips. You are going to have 7 per roll. To cover the green foam, I'm using a roll of grosgrain ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and if you go slow and hot glue throughout the way, 1 roll will be enough. Now I'm just taking each one of the strips, folding them in half, and tying them on the side of the wreath. That's it. I'm not even double tying. Because of the type of mesh this is, it's not going to slide and it's going to stay pretty secure. Now I'm going to go all the way around the wreath using up all my strips. For decor, I'm using these ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and the first thing I wanted to do is cover those little holes on top. So I'm just using a hot glue gun, and using a finger protector, I'm just smoothing the hot glue over the ornament. Next, I'm painting both of the ornaments in a Craft Smart acrylic paint called Ocean Breeze. I'm just giving both of the ornaments 1 coat. I'm giving my ornaments a layer of Mod Podge and then using this gorgeous chunky glitter, and it's called Snowy Surprise. I got it at Walmart, and I'm going to give it a nice coat on top of these trees. I wanted the glitter to look like snow on top of the trees. Just so you guys can see the difference, here's a tree with glitter and here's one without glitter. What do you think? Not a big glitter person myself, but this looks absolutely stunning. Let me know what you think. Now I'm just glittering up the second tree, and I'm going to let both of the trees dry for an hour. Next, I'm grabbing this cute little deer that I got for $1.98 at Walmart, and I'm going to remove the top little tag that was on top of the deer's head. And I'm sorry I did it kind of off screen, but I just removed it to make sure it's nice and smooth. And then I'm just hot gluing everything where I feel like it needs to go. So I put 1 tree a little higher, 1 a little lower, and then Bambi kind of went to the side. And I think this wreath turned out absolutely beautiful, and I have it hanging in my living room right now. To hang my wreath, I'm just adding a piece of transparent ribbon to the top of my wreath. For this easy wreath, we are just using some tinsel from the Dollar Tree and wrapping it around our foam wreath form. After we're done wrapping it around, we are going to decorate with a silver Jingle Bell ornament from the Dollar Tree. At this point, you can attach the ornament as is, but that blob of hot glue in the front really bothered me. So I'm grabbing some pine cone potpourri, and I'm going to grab a tiny little pine cone and then just cut the end of it and hot glue it as the third little pine cone in that little bundle. I also added a bigger pine cone on the other side of the ornament, kind of to balance everything out. To hang my ornament, I'm just very carefully putting a pin through the ribbon, inserting it into the wreath, and covering up with the tinsel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below which wreath was your favorite. If you love Dollar Tree DIYs, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell button, and the thumbs up. Now, let's click the link down below and hop on over to the next super talented DIYer.